boys and girls, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of the brand new video game adaptation, Borderlands. And I never played the Borderland game, so I really had no point of reference in watching this movie. You know, I'm going into it green with zero expectations. This film stars the great, the all-powerful Kate Blanchett, the 8-time Academy Award nominee, 2-time winner. She is a phenomenal actress. Kevin Hart is in this film. Jack Black, Academy Award winner Jamie Lee Curtis is in this movie, and just to name a few, is directed by Eli Roth, who is more of a horror director. That's where he cut his teeth with the Hostel films, Green Inferno, and so on and so forth. He really cut his teeth in horror, but he's diving into this big budget video game adaptation, which is a peculiar choice. And after watching the movie, I really it really was peculiar. As I stated before, I don't know anything about the video game, don't know any of the characters. Clearly, these characters are based off of video game characters because they're so silly and outlandish. And so you kind of got to go with it. At least I did. Fans of the game probably had a different outlook on it or whatever, but as somebody on the outside looking in, it was complete silliness. But you know, I went with it because it is based off a video game. I'm gonna say right off the bat, there's no point sugarcoating it, lingering on about it. This was the worst movie I've seen this year. Well, that's not fair. That's not fair. That I actually feel bad saying that. Let me take that back. Let me rewind. This is the worst movie I've seen this year so far. Let me just say, because there's a chance we still got 4 or 5 months left in this year, and a lot of movies coming out within that time frame that could overtake it. But as it stands right now, this was the worst movie I've seen this year, probably in a couple of years. This movie was so bad. This is one of those rare films that you go to watch and you get angry midway through. You ever sat in a movie and just got mad at what you're watching, and not because of the material? Like I remember the first time I watched oh my god, A Time to Kill with Matthew McConaughey and Samuel L. Jackson. I got mad at that film, not because it was bad, because of the subject matter in that film. It would anger you. I got mad when I watched Mississippi Burnings because of the subject matter. You know, that's what it was supposed to do. That's not that type of mad that I'm talking about here. I got mad. Like, why is this happening right now? These are 2 hours of my life, well, an hour and 45 minutes of my life that I would never get back. Never. And however long this review is going to be, talking about it is a waste of time. These are precious words and breaths I could use at the end of my life. You know, I could need to call out for help or tell my wife and children that I love them. But no, I'm wasting these breaths, these words on this movie, and I'm mad. It's really sad that whoever the producers of this film greenlit this film and thought it was going to be good. They actually thought they was putting out a good product. Now, to be fair, this movie was shot years ago. This was pre-pandemic, if I'm not mistaken, or was it during the pandemic? Something like that. It was 2020, but it was a pretty difficult shoot, from what I understand. They had to do vigorous reshoots like a year ago or a couple of years, yeah, about a year ago, after they had finished filming the film 3 years prior to that. So these people had to come back, do reshoots, and I'm talking extensive reshoots. They almost shot the movie over again. And these actors and actresses had to get back into character in roles that they played 3 years prior and try to get, and catch that same chemistry or vibe of the character and stuff like that. It's not that hard. It's not that easy, I should say, for actors to do that. That's why they get paid a lot of money, because it's hard to do that. And even for one of the greatest actresses of all time with Kate Blanchett, she couldn't do it. Probably the only time in her career I can sit back and say she was bad. We're talking about a woman who is nominated almost every time she steps in front of a camera. And she is nominated for that film she's in. You don't believe me? Look it up. She's been nominated, I think, 8 or 9 times. And she chose this movie for some strange reason. I'm guessing this was a paycheck movie. That's all I can think of. And I hate to categorize it like that, but it's the truth. It's unbelievable. She couldn't save this. This movie had no character development. It had no laughs. The I would say the jokes were aimed at kids, but I don't even think kids would laugh at this. It was nothing about this a film that was funny. The action was boring. Action. I'm talking action, shootouts, car chases, monsters and aliens and all this stuff was boring. I couldn't believe it. And I sat in the theater and was mad. I sat there with anger in my heart because I can't believe that this movie that was made, I think it cost $130 million or $120 million to make this movie. And I can't tell you where 100 of that 120 went. It was that bad. I mean, the special effects weren't hitting on nothing. Nothing worked in this movie. Nothing. Kevin Hart was miscast as Rel. And granted, not the greatest Kevin Hart film fan, because I feel he plays the same character in every movie. At least in this movie, it was different to a degree, not a vast change. I'm not talking I'm not talking a serious turn, a dramatic turn for Kevin Hart here. No, he's still Kevin Hart, but he wasn't the silly one in the film. And normally he's the silly person, like in the ride-alongs and stuff like that. No, that was reserved for Jack Black, and he only did the voiceover for Claptrap, the little droid robot thing. Look, I don't know, man. I feel bad for the performers in this film. I feel bad for Kate Blanchett. I feel bad for Kevin Hart. I feel bad for Ariana Greenblatt, who plays the girl in this film. You may recognize her from Barbie from last year. You probably wouldn't recognize her because she looked much younger than she did, because this movie was filmed before Barbie. So that's why she looks super young. But I feel sorry, because this is the type of film that can hurt a career, that can end a career. And it's not the actor's fault. It's really not. I don't know if it's the direction or the screenplay. Eli Roth is not the greatest of directors, to be fair. I never was a big Eli Roth fan. The Hostel films. I'm not into body horror. I'm not into all that. That's too disgusting to me. That's just being disgusting for disgusting taste. showing all that stuff. You don't have to do all that to scare people or to get a reaction out of people, but that's his style, you know. And look, it ain't for me, but I know people do enjoy it. That's good, you know. And he's shown flashes of being a good director. Thanksgiving was an all right movie. Was it good? Was it great? No, but it was good. It's, I thought it was really, really funny. And I enjoyed it for what it was. You know, it was a throwback slasher horror film from the early 80s type feel. You know, I really enjoyed that movie. But as far as a big budget action film or science fiction film, not his cup of tea. It's not his cup of tea. The film was written by Craig Mason, and this was what really blew my mind. Now, he had his name taken off of it, and I get why, but he did write this movie. Craig Mason is the creator of Chernobyl on HBO, that amazing show that came out about 5-6 years ago. I'm probably going way too far back, but it was a real good show, and he just knocked it out of the park with a video game adaptation, which was turned into a TV show on HBO, The Last of Us, which is phenomenal. Now, he had his hands in that. He created that show or helped create that show. So it really makes you scratch your head. What happened here? Now, once again, don't know the video games. Maybe this movie is super accurate to the Borderlands video game lore. That part I don't know. If that's the case, I guess that's probably the reason why I never gravitated to the video games, because this is not a good film. Unfortunately, Borderlands, which stars Kate Blanchett and Kevin Hart, gets a letter grade of an F. Yes, this was not a good movie at all. But that's just my humble opinion. I would love to know yours. And if you completely disagree, I would love to know your opinion. Why? Film is subjective. There's somebody who feels this is probably the best movie of the year. You know, there's somebody out there who feels that way, who strongly disagrees with what I'm saying right now. And I would love to know your opinion. I mean, I'm not to go back and forth and holler and scream at each other. I just love to get other people's opinions, you know. Just because I didn't like it don't make it right. That's just my feeling, you know. That's just my opinion, but I would love to know yours. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube and like this video if you don't mind. Also, don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this glowing review of Borderlands, currently in theaters, which I would imagine won't be in theaters long. I want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.